Hey there, Tesla fans. Aaron Rath here, along with my co-pilot, Marissa. And today is the day we get to take Slowpoke for her first road trip. So this video is all going to be about the road trip. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and we have got about we're about a 12-hour day. We should get into Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is where we're going, about 5:20 tonight. Keep in mind that's 5:20 their time, so it's really about an 11-hour day. And this routing map has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops planned in for us, so not too bad. But stick with us, and thanks for watching Rat's Tesla. Alright, we are just pulling in our first supercharging stop. About an hour and a half of driving. But we'll get set up and talk about a few things here. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, we are plugged in. Still not connecting. There we go. Now we got some charging happening. So we're charging. If we go to our map, this says we should charge for about 10 minutes, and that would get us to Ogallala with about 0% battery. So I think we're going to charge for a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Right now we're sitting at 55%, but we're going to go a little bit longer. And my co-pilot is not doing too well. We'll have to find something to eat here in just a little bit as well. So we're about done supercharging here. We decided to charge to 80%, but while we're waiting, we have about 5% left to charge. While we're waiting, I thought I'd jump on and talk about a few things that I noticed on that first part of the drive. The first one is that phantom braking. My daughter's squeaking her water bottle. Phantom braking wasn't that bad. I had 2 incidences, but the funny thing is they were only when it was dark, and there was nothing else around. There were no trucks coming from the other direction. It was just something that happened. The car slowed down. I hit the accelerator, and we sped right back up. The second one is And this is the first opportunity that I've had to drive at night with the brakes or with the brights. And I've noticed that the auto brights are much better. Like, they didn't come on at all. And in the past, they would have blinked on and off and on and off and on and off with all the cars that were coming and by us. But they did not turn on at all. And so that impresses me a lot. And then the last thing is, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about ride quality and the Model Y performance with the 21-inch wheels. And it really was not that bad at all. There were a couple places on State Road 34 that runs east of Greeley out to Brush, where I'm supercharging right now, and it's really bad. And it was not any worse in this car than it is in any other car that I've taken this trip in. And I've taken this trip quite a few times. I've driven it in my Ford Escape that I had. I've driven it in a Ford Explorer. And it is no worse than any one of those. So as far as ride quality goes, I would say that if that's something that you're worried about, I wouldn't be worried about it. It's not something that is going to matter to you. But I'm in Brush, Colorado. There are 8 supercharging spots here. I am the only one here right now. As we swing around and we look at our supercharging stats, we're charging at 223 miles per hour, and it's slowly going down. 18 kilowatt hours have been added. We're up to we're at 58 kilowatts. It says 38 minutes to 100%. We're going to charge to 79%, and doing so will get us to our next stop in Ogallala, Nebraska, with about 13% left. So just checking our efficiency here. I don't know why the car decided it had to be in the left lane, but checking our efficiency here, if we can get it to get without the glare. We were supposed to get to Ogallala with 15%. Right now we're running at about 24%. So we're being actually really efficient on this drive so far. Nebraska's so fun. It's flat. There's not a lot here. There's curves in the road to keep you on your toes. And they do a lot of construction. It is construction season. And my car did not like the cars in the right lane going the wrong direction.
We're having a blast. I'm DJ. He really likes my songs.
Yeah, okay. And right now we're driving pretty efficient. We were supposed to arrive at about 15%. Right now we're set to arrive at about 21%. And we are currently at 32%. So we're cruising along pretty efficiently. It was up to about 25, 26%, but in that northeast corner of Colorado, it gets a little hilly, and so it changed the efficiency a little bit. But right now we're being pretty efficient, and yeah, we'll talk to you when we get to our next stop. All right, we are in Ogallala, Nebraska, playing supercharger roulette. Seeing if one, if we can find them, and two, how many are open? The thing said 6 stalls are open, and there's 8 stalls. I think they're back over here. According to the map, they should be just past this Mickey D's by 3 margaritas. Yep, there they are back there. So we are going to pull in here and
we'll have friends.
We'll have friends. There are other Teslas there.
Do you think they'll
get pulled in here? We are pulling into this supercharger with 21% battery remaining. And it says that we need to stay here for about 20 minutes or so.
I'm getting out. This is so...
Still connecting.
I don't have shoes on.
And we are charging. We currently sit at 21%, and we are going to be here for about, probably a good 20 minutes or so. Our speed right now is 430 miles per hour. So, and you can tell we're in the middle of Nebraska. We have 3G. We don't have 5G. We don't have LTE. We have 3G. So I'm going to get out, walk around, maybe go find a bathroom, and we'll come back and get ready to go on the rest of this trip. You gotta love the stops when you can stop and stretch your legs, and your kid can go on the swing set. There's a lake with the ducks, or a pond, I guess it is, more than a lake. For me, when I drive my Tesla on road trips, even though this is my first one, I am not one of those guys that gets in a car and drives for 6 hours without stopping. First off, I have a bad back, and so I can't sit for that long. So I like to be able to get out and move around and stretch my legs. So Tesla's is perfect, right? I'm going about 220 miles per run. So we're running about a couple hours each time we get in the car, and it's just working out really good. This place in Ogallala, there's a McDonald's near, there's 2 hotels if you had to stay here that are right, well, we're actually behind a hotel that we were able to go in and use the restroom and get coffee if we wanted it. But everything so far is running well. Stopped here with about 21%. There's 8 stalls here, as you can see. I don't know if you can see behind me, there's actually, including mine, there's 3 other Teslas. So, you know, pretty good crowd here, but we're about 5-10 minutes from being ready to continue on. We'll hop in the car and we will get going. But before we do that, when that's all done, we'll look at the charging stats before we hit the road to our next stop. All right, so we just finished our charging in Ogallala. This one cost us $17.64. Took us from 21% to 80%. And our next stop will be in Gothenburg, Nebraska, and we should stop with 40% left. So lots of charge left. This shouldn't be that big of a run. Looks like it's about 80 miles, so probably about an hour's worth of driving. But we have some bigger stretches coming up this afternoon. All right, we are pulling, well, We're around the corner from the Gothenburg. I'm pulling in, not really. We're getting off the highway to go to Gothenburg, Nebraska superchargers. We'll get to the efficiency here in just a few minutes. Looks like we're gonna pull in with about 36%. We're actually gonna change our route up on this stop. I don't really care for the way it has us going across Nebraska on the backcountry, and there's really no stops, so you're really taking a chance that you, one, that you make it, and two, if there's any issues, you're really stuck out in the middle of nowhere. So we're gonna change the route up just a bit and see what we have. We weren't quite as efficient as we were supposed to be, so that's okay. Right now it looks like to get to our next stop, which is Grand Island, we only need about 15 minutes. We're gonna charge a little bit longer. I'm actually gonna change up our route, but we're gonna start charging and then we'll get our route changed and then we'll see what that does for our afternoon. Yeah, we've got a few bugs. We're now in Grand Island, Nebraska. Got a nice Model 3 Performance next to us. And a couple white Model 3s over there. But yeah, we've hit a few bugs along the way. The mirror, I just cleaned the windshield as best as I could, but we'll see. So this is gross. All right, so we are sitting here in Grand Island, debating. Yeah, not so grand. It's not really an island either, but we're kind of sitting here trying to get our charge to 75%. We're at 71%, and we're going to go to Lincoln and Sioux City and then on to Sioux Falls. But just trying to get this all figured out so we've got not quite as long of charges at certain places. And it looks like the time is off a little bit, and it's getting better. Or no, it's getting worse. I don't know. It looks like the charging, I don't know. I changed the route that it was taking us on, and I made it a little bit better route. But right now, it's just, I don't know. It feels off. It's got extra miles in there, so it's all good. We actually like the stops to be able to get out and stretch our legs, grab something to eat or drink, use the restroom. It's been good for this old guy. I don't know, for this young gal, has it been good? Yeah. Although she wants me to do a TikTok with her at every stop, and
I think he should.
No.
Come
I mean,
on, just
you can
once.
drop a comment below if you think I should do a TikTok with my daughter. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to happen, but yes, that's the one.
Okay, so then that's an hour and 20 minutes from here to the next one.
Yeah, that's about right. Alrighty, well, we're gonna drop this and finish charging here, and then we will be on our way to Lincoln, Nebraska. Alright, we are just heading to the Lincoln, Nebraska supercharger, and I can tell you that if you're looking for this one, it is not right off the highway like a lot of them are. This one is a couple miles off the highway, and you're driving through residential, well, not residential areas, but you're on a main thoroughfare, but it is not directly off the highway. It's about 2.5 miles off the highway. So if this is on your route, if you can make it to a different one, I would highly suggest it. If it's what you need and it's at the distance that you need, then you're just gonna have to go off the highway, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at 29%. As I said, this supercharger in Lincoln is not right off the beaten path, and it's kind of hard to find. It's on the side of the parking lot by the Hy-Vee kind of tucked in behind Furniture Row and Denver Mattress. It's a little off from where the map on the Tesla said to go. We pulled up a different map and we were able to get right to it, but it's kind of tucked in the corner here by Hy-Vee. We're getting great speeds though to start. We're getting 550 miles per hour. We're charging at 145 kilowatts. But we've got a long charge here. I think we've got about a half hour here before we can move on. And we're just gonna hang out. But like I said, this one in Lincoln, Nebraska, not the easiest to find and not right off of the highway. If you're looking for something that's gonna help you make your trip a little bit faster, this is not gonna be the supercharger for you. We are out here in Iowa. Sorry I didn't get the Iowa sign because it's just over a bridge and I missed it. But we are in Iowa. Construction galore. It's that season here. Not much over here to see. Not much over there to see. And my co-pilot is up. You know, just overall thoughts so far on this road trip is it's been good. I kind of enjoy having to stop every couple hours to stretch my legs, go to the bathroom, get something to eat or drink, or all of the above. We've met a lot of nice people along the road. Well, not along the road, at the Tesla superchargers. We've met some good people. The funny thing is I've seen a lot of Model S's and a lot of Model 3s, but I've only seen one other Model Y, and that was at one of our first supercharger stops in Nebraska. Very big step about to happen on Slowpoke. Thought I'd bring you along for the ride as we are about to hit 14,000 miles on the car. We got it on July 26th of 2021. Today's date is April 28th of 2022, so we're about, what, 9 months, and we've got almost 14,000 miles on, so let's enjoy this together as the odometer clicks over to 14,000. There it is. There it is. We turned over the big 14,000 miles on this road trip. We will not hit 15,000 on this road trip. It's about a 650 mile drive. But overall, these first 14,000 miles have been awesome. I love this car. I am the kind of person that goes through cars pretty quick. I think in the 6 years we've lived in our house, I think I've had 7 cars. But this one is staying. I love this car. The only thing I would ever replace this with is another Tesla. I don't think I will go away from Tesla. There may be another EV out there that I might give a shot to, but as of right now, Tesla's in the lead. But we're about 40 minutes away, 35 minutes away from our next stop in Sioux City, Iowa. That'll be our final charging stop before we get to our final destination. So we'll see you in Sioux City. Coming in for our last supercharging stop. And again, this one in Sioux City, Iowa. Not right off the highway, but not near as bad as the one in Lincoln, Nebraska. Just talking to my daughter, we're just leaving our final charging destination. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes, just under 100 miles into our final destination. We should get there with about 24% battery remaining. But we were just talking about the difference between going to a gas station with your ICE vehicle and going to a Tesla charger, supercharger with your Tesla. At a couple different superchargers today, we had great conversations with people on the road. At this last one, I met a nice gentleman from Minnesota. He wanted to sit in my car. Brian, thanks for the conversation. He wanted to check out the Yoke steering wheel I put in and the screen, and I had some questions about it, and so I was able to answer those questions for him. But yeah, I mean, just great conversations with people that you typically don't have about an ICE vehicle at a gas station. You typically don't stand there and talk to somebody about a mod that you've made to your, you know, even to my wife's Tiguan, her new 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan. And we don't get many people that talk to us about that, but we talk a ton about the Tesla. So it's just fun community talk. It is definitely a community having the Tesla, and it's a great community. But we're gonna finish this last little part of the drive, and then we will get finished and be ready to hang out with family for a couple days. But we're gonna finish this last part of the drive. It's just a little over an hour, get this knocked out, and we'll chat with you guys when we get to our final destination.
And thank you, Brian, for entertaining my father for me.
I wanted to jump on one last time before I hit my final destination. I found my first, I'm gonna put air quotes around it, my first issue with using full self-drive beta on this trip. And that's because Uncle Elon has locked us into 80 miles an hour. And in the great state of South Dakota, the speed limit is 80 miles an hour. I like to run just a couple miles an hour over the speed limit. Right now I got my cruise set at 85. So yeah, Uncle Elon, if you see this or anybody's got word to him, let's run that back up to 90. That sure would make life a lot easier. But right now I can't use full self-drive beta because I think I might get run off the road by all these old farmers up here in South Dakota if I just went 80 miles an hour. So we need to get that fixed, but yeah. All right, back to driving. All right, back on the road again, back home to northern Colorado from South Dakota. But looks like our trip home will have 5 stops, a little bit longer stops because we got a little bit longer distance between each of our stops. But looks to be beautiful weather today. It's a little overcast, but not windy and not rainy, and that's what we wanted. And that's why we're going back through South Dakota instead of through Nebraska the way we came, because Nebraska is supposed to be rainy and windy all day today. And we're going to stay just north of that storm. So we'll check in with you throughout our trip back. But as you can see, not much to see here in South Dakota. We're actually going to stop in Wall Drug. So if you've never been to Wall Drug, we'll have some videos of that later in the video. So make sure you stick around for those. Wall Drug is really kind of cool. Just stopped in Mitchell, South Dakota for our first stop. And I gotta say, I think this is the first time I've ever seen a supercharger at a Goodwill. There's not a lot around this supercharger. There's a Dairy Queen over there. But as far as anything else goes, not a lot here. We've got about a 35-minute supercharge here. We need to get up to, we need to get pretty high because we've got a long shot here. We're charging at about 390 miles per hour. This is a little bit slower supercharger, so it's going to take us a little bit longer, but I'm going to go scope out and see if I can find some coffee. All right, we are done with our charging session in Mitchell, and it is time to hit the road. This charging session took us about 35 minutes Cost us $14.62. We charged all the way up to 93%. We need about 80% of the battery to get to our next stop. And so we are charged a little bit higher so that we don't have to worry about things. But yeah, so far so good. It's a little bit colder than it was on our trip here. It's only 37 degrees. So that's affecting our efficiency a little bit. And then the fact that we can drive 80, little over 80 miles an hour affects our efficiency as well. So we may tame it down and just run at 81, because that allows me to run FSD Beta and makes the drive a little bit easier. But two, it also helps our range a little bit. I mean, 85% seems to cost us about an extra 5-6% on each leg of the trip, whereas 80 miles an hour has only been costing us an extra couple percent. So we'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll go back and forth between 85 and 80 and go from there. But we're gonna get on the road. And also a pro tip for you, as you can see, my co-pilot crashed out next to me. A pro tip for you as you're driving through the great state of South Dakota, if you decide to drive through South Dakota and you have a radar detector, you want to make sure that you have K-band enabled, because their highway patrol here in South Dakota runs their radar in K-band. If you have just Ka-band enabled, you will miss the highway patrol in South Dakota's radar. You need K-band enabled in order to catch that. We are now officially in western South Dakota. The Missouri River is the kind of the center point of the state. There is a supercharger here in Oklahoma that's just on the west side of the Missouri River. Chamberlain is on the east side, Oklahoma is on the west side, and there is a supercharger here in Oklahoma. We are not stopping here. We've got plenty of charge to get to our next stop, so we'll continue. Just pulling into Murdo, South Dakota. Our expected battery remaining was 13%. Right now we're at 13%. We got to be at this Murdo supercharger for a little bit longer for a couple reasons. One, because we got another long drive in front of us, and two, it's only a 120 kilowatt charger, so a little bit slower than what we've seen. The one in Mitchell was 150 kilowatt. This one's listed as 120 kilowatt. It's got 4 stalls. Shows that all 4 stalls are open, and there's not a lot around here by this supercharger. As you come into town, there's a couple smaller gas stations that you could swing in and grab gas, but looks like this one right here, we are actually, I missed my turn, but we're actually at a little hotel And so we're gonna whip in here and supercharge.
They're not all open. There's a car.
You're right, there is a car. I thought it said that they were all open, but there's one charging that's not reported, so let's get supercharging. And we got in just in time. We got a battery low. Get that baby plugged in and get us charging. Just finished charging in Murdo. Now we're actually on our way to Wall, South Dakota, and that wasn't necessarily part of our trip plan, but we're gonna stop because if you've never been to Wall, they have really good donuts and lots of fun stuff to do, and there's a supercharger there. So we are going to supercharge in Wall drug right now, charging. We've got some time, so we're gonna walk around. Hello. No, just donuts. And you want chocolate? Hello. 2 chocolate, 2 maple. That's it. Yep.
$8.82.
Thank you.
Here's your receipt. She's bringing those right up.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Good day.
You too.
Does that mean the police can't park there? Or that that's where the police get to go, so we can't park in front of it? This is cool.
Is that a dinosaur?
That's a dinosaur.
The 80-foot dinosaur there.
There sits Slowpoke. Let's see what her charge is sitting at. It's at 88%. So, let us skip Rapid City. We only need 2 more stops. We go to Custer, and then we go to Wheatland, Wyoming, and then we're home. All right, so at Wall we charged all the way up to 90% for $16.13.
That's a bargain.
That's a bargain. So we are going to head out and head to Custer, South Dakota. All right, we are in Custer. We've been charging for about 30 minutes. Watched a TV show my daughter got me watching. It's called Only Murders in the Building, so it's kind of strange, but hey, it gives us something to do while we're supercharging. I'm gonna let it charge for a couple more percent. We actually have probably one of the biggest legs that we've done on our trip this whole time. It's like 183 miles, so just want to stretch my legs one last time and make sure we are ready to go and get on the road. And looks like we're at 90%, so I'm gonna go ahead and unplug and we're gonna get going. So we are in the middle of Wyoming, and I gotta tell you, this is like the best place to have full self-drive out on this back country road. Speed limit 70. We got the FSD set at 75 and we're just cruising along. No other cars out here. It's just nice to not have to do anything but rest my hand on the wheel, not even put my feet on the pedals. They're just chilling out down on the floor. Just pulling into Lusk, Wyoming. That'll be our next supercharger spot. Man, you go from 70 to 30 right there, so when you're coming into town, be careful. You go 70 to 30, and we are going to pull into this Lusk supercharger. It's got 4 stalls total, 120 kilowatt max, so again, not a huge supercharger, but they have 4 stalls, not a ton of stuff there. There's a bathroom, and there is coffee, and I think that's about it. So we weren't as efficient as we wanted to be going through the mountains. It probably had something to do. Yeah, it probably had something to do with me passing a semi truck at 105 miles an hour. But we weren't quite as efficient, so we're gonna stop and throw a little bit of energy in the car so we can get to Cheyenne and then finish up with one last charge before we get home. Well, that'll do it for this road trip video. Thanks for watching. I know it was a long video. I appreciate the time that you spent watching it, but there was a lot to talk about. Overall, that was a fantastic road trip. I absolutely love road tripping in the Tesla, and it will be happening again in the very near future. And probably the next time it goes on a road trip, we'll be back to the exact same place, back to South Dakota for the Chislik Festival. And you're gonna wanna subscribe because Chislik is the bomb diggity. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, throw a like on it, hit the bell, do all the good stuff so that you don't miss any of our future videos. We got tons of stuff on the channel that we've already done reviews on, and we've got tons of stuff coming up that we're gonna do reviews on. We've got a lot of fun videos coming up. But if there's a specific video that you want, either as a new Tesla owner or someone that just placed your order for your Tesla, or even a Tesla owner that you've had your Tesla for a while and you're looking for a specific video on something, drop that comment below, let me know. I will do that video, but we've got a lot of great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. That'll do it for this video. As always, get out, go drive, be safe, and we will catch you in the next video.